So Brian, when you had your to-do list coming out of spring practice for the defense, what did that to-do list look like, and what is some of the stuff you've maybe seen even this early on really being implemented?
Really, the big thing that our guys are really getting better at and they're continuing to grow is just understanding our concepts and understanding what the offense is doing conceptually. So we know who we are defensively, and we know for the most part how teams are going to tackle us or see us. So, really know thyself. And really coming out of the spring, we wanted to know who we were, really solidify our identity on defense. And now we're really getting to the whys and understanding why offense is doing certain things, and teaching our guys to understand that so they can anticipate what's coming.
Coach just talked about the depth, obviously more on linebacker, but I mean to kind of piggyback off growth. I know it's 2 days in, but from the end of the spring to the summer, how do you feel that group's gelling right now?
I think you're doing a great job. I mean, we've got 6 or 7 guys that are on the mix right now. It's a little bit of a learning curve, with the microphone and those guys having to communicate and do different things while hearing my voice in their helmet. But at the same time, that group, we got a lot of experience in that group, guys that played a lot of football. And they're continuing to move along and seeing their progression, seeing what Coach Coop is doing with those guys, they're getting better every day.
What attributes really stand out about him?
He's just, he knows who he is, athletically. And he knows who he is in terms of what his strengths are. And his strengths are, up above his neck. And he's just has a high football IQ. He's a guy that can anticipate things. He's a leader out there. He really leads by example, but you can see he's a master of the fundamentals, and that's a guy. Those mean so much to him. You can see he applies those techniques every day, and he applies them to our different defensive calls. And other guys see that. He's just a great example for what you want in a guy that plays that plays with a high football IQ. Yeah, I mean, same situation. It's just we got about, I think, 5 or 6 guys that are all competing to get on the field. We have some guys that are a little bit ahead of other guys because they have playing experience and they brought some experience. And then we have some young guys that are talented. They're really trying to follow those older guys' example and knowing how to go the day-to-day process, how to be successful in a college football program.
You mentioned identity. Have you guys had to drastically change the identity all just going into the Big 12 and the different kind of personnel groupings and what should get?
That's interesting. It's interesting that you should ask that. A lot of people, and again, I would ask you, what do you think is different? Okay, well, I mean, the reason I'm saying that is just, we've been in the Pac-12 the last, 2 years, at least I've coordinated, and I've seen some really good running backs, some really good quarterbacks, some really good offensive lines, and some really good receivers. So, there's a little bit different style of offense in this league, and I think it's more field position, possessions, managing possessions, and time management. But that's our head coach deal. You know what I mean? So, we're gonna, our identity on defense is, that we're gonna try to stop the run. We're gonna try to eliminate big plays and cause takeaways and keep people from scoring the football. So it's a good question, and I know a lot of people are trying to make a much ado about that. But the offenses that we've seen the last 2 years have been incredible. So if they're at that level, then we're going to have to be at our very best.
How are you growing in with the comfort? I know you mentioned the communication into the helmet. How are you liking that? How are the players adjusting?
Yeah, I mean, it's different. It's interesting, and you're playing the game every day, and that's the beauty of it. I mean, it's game situations every single day, and and being able to prepare those guys to be able to anticipate what's coming offensively. I think that's something that it helps us, but it also helps the offense. So it's still a chess match. It's still playing cat and mouse, and we're still adapting and adjusting to it. And I'm excited about the future of it.
Does that change anything for you, being on the sidelines or being in the booth because of that helmet?
It's a great question. We're still working that out.
Some of your best pass rushers, Clayton and Prince, they look noticeably bigger, stronger this year. How does that kind of help them and you?
Well, I can't wait to see them in pads tomorrow because you're right. They're 8 to 12 pounds heavier, than they were, in the spring, and I think they're anywhere up to 15 pounds. I mean, they're just bigger guys. So I'm excited to see what they do. against our offensive line because we're better and bigger and deeper on our own line as well. So it's going to be interesting to see their progression throughout camp.
Is it like they're diversify their ability against the run or taking better pass rushers in some ways?
We're going to see. Yeah, I mean, so those are great questions. I'm going to say that's the idea, is train him to get as big, as strong, and fast as possible. And, I can't wait to see him apply it here throughout fall camp and see their progression.
I know you said you're waiting until pads come on to really evaluate the defensive line and really the entire defense. But looking at the defensive line, bodies-wise, it's almost like you got a baseball team there. Is that challenging really to start weeding out?
A big baseball team?
No.
A smaller or skinny or what? So, yeah, I mean, we got a lot of guys, and competition literally fuels performance. And those guys are all alpha type dudes, and they all want to be the guy. So there's a lot of competition, and when we get the pads on tomorrow and seeing their progression throughout camp is something I'm excited about.
Cool. Thanks,
Okay,
guys.
all right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Okay, all right.